What's up, everybody? Quick note before we get started. I've had a few people recently reach out and ask, how can I help support the podcast? And my answer is always the same. It's just tell a friend about the show. That's the number one way that this thing grows, is just word of mouth. And we're so grateful for anybody who listens. If you want to leave a rating or review on Apple Podcasts, that also helps. And you can make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. That helps us out a ton too. But other than that, just keep enjoying the show. We love you guys. Thanks. What's up, everybody? It's Troy Cartwright. Welcome back to another episode of 10-Year Town. Before we get started, I wanted to give you this week's stat of the week, powered by our friends over at Chartmetric. Today's stat is 1 billion plus. That is the total number of career streams Ben Rector has accumulated over the course of his career, from Brand New to The Men Who Drive Me Places to his brand new record, The Richest Man in the World. His songs have found a massive audience, and he somehow managed to stay very true to who he is as an artist. Chartmetric helps you make sense of moments like these, offering insights into streaming stats, touring data, playlists, and more. If you want to uncover insights like this for yourself, head to chartmetric.com. Now, back to the show. Today's guest is the great Ben Rector. You know Ben from songs like Brand New, Living My Best Life, and his brand new record, which just dropped, called The Richest Man in the World. Ben is a fantastic songwriter and a very inspiring artist. We get into a lot of that in this conversation, and I learned so much. I know you guys will too. So without further ado, here he is, Ben Rector. Dude, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, man. This is great.
How's it going? How's the day going so far?
It's really good. Yes, I have organized. I geeked out this weekend and really went deep on organizing my travel, because we're doing this different model for a tour than I've ever done.
Yeah.
Which is 1 weekend a month, which is so awesome. And I'm sort of like trying to find, like, I don't know, I wish I wasn't like this, but I'm like real into, like, I'm going to find an efficient way.
Are you optimizing, like ordering two of things?
No.
Are we talking like packaging?
No, like little travel. Like I'm looking at my flights and I'm like, I could get there. There's a good direct, and then I could play golf the next day, but I'm just lining up fun stuff.
Okay.
And so I did that this weekend, and then today I did like normal work stuff, and I was like, man, I am enjoying this. This is good.
Yeah.
Usually I feel like I'm about to get shot like out of a cannon into a meat grinder.
Yeah.
For touring. And I've done it really hard for a long time. And now I'm just like, what if I tried to enjoy this? And now I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you're like
kind of
inverting the problem and solving it. Yeah, I had a pretty good travel efficiency yesterday. I was in Dallas for Mother's Day.
Oh.
Got off the golf course 5:37.
What golf course?
We're playing at Brookhaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And 6 p.m. was at Love. Through security, had a little bite to eat.
What'd you eat?
Well, I had a hankering for the Whataburger,
Yeah.
but it was closed. I know, and I knew that
on Sunday situation.
Right, I knew that Chick-fil-A would be closed. I knew
They're
that
not a
wasn't an
religious
option
company.
for me.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened, but there's a little cheat code at Love Field. So there's like a bar right next to the Whataburger, and you can order the food at the bar, and it's the same. So like if there's a line, sometimes there's a line 15, 20 minutes.
A
you can just
Whataburger bar?
Well, it's like a Dallas Cowboys themed bar.
But you can get Whataburger food?
Yes,
you
can get food from any of the restaurants there. So
no.
I
did not know that.
Yeah, that's a fun cheat code.
That's a huge cheat code.
Yeah, so I got I think I got a chicken parm sandwich from
Campese's.
I think it was from. Do they have like a Maggiano's in there? The food options were really messed up.
I hate that I know this, but it goes Campese's in the middle of those.
Right.
It probably was Campese. It might not be.
Yeah, it probably was Campese's.
I'm deep on airports, man.
I need to get correct on my Love Field food options. But anyway,
I've never thought of this before. I could like draw Love Field and where all the food options are.
yeah, the left side, the right side.
In between Starbucks, where
Yeah.
the lines always wrap around.
This is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
I'm loving this already. So I get to the airport on the flight, boards at 7. My wife was picking me up. I was first seat, didn't check a bag, traveled backpack only. So the flight landed at 9:06. I was in the car 9:11.
You flew private, is what you did.
Basically,
For
a fraction of the price.
I mean, wow. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's incredible.
it felt like a pretty big day.
Did you go for the, I forget were you business select?
No, I was just, I did the early bird check-in.
Where's early bird get you?
This flight was only 70% full.
Okay.
So it'll definitely get you, like, I always do that if I'm traveling with a guitar. And you may be past these problems in your travel optimization, but
my optimization of that is I check my guitar
okay.
all the time.
I just try not to check. So I almost always do early bird. I would think I was A47.
Are you A list?
I'm not.
Oh.
Not currently. I know I lost it. I had a down year.
It's honestly, it's brutal. I didn't know this. So the A1 through 15, you probably know this. Those are only paid for. It's people that bought business select. Doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Then status starts A30. But I didn't know they were sprinkling in some early birds in there. Maybe because it was 70% full. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is we're getting killed on the pre-boards.
Dude.
Because
I almost can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And anybody who tries to tell me that's not what's going on, go to another airline. How many pre-boards does Delta have? It's 2 people who are literally infirm. They're like, are you going to make it through this flight?
Yeah.
Southwest, it's like, that's crazy, man. There's 18 of you. And you look pretty okay.
I didn't realize it was as bad as it was until I went to the forums. Like I was on like Reddit when they announced the Southwest changes. You know, it was a big day.
I truly believe that's part of why they did it. And they won't say that, but I think that their core customer base is just like, this is ridiculous. And now they can't sell the what's it called? The high tier. But they can't sell business select because everyone's just like, there's 2 first class seats on both Southwest flights. It's the seat with nothing in front of it. There's only 2 of those.
Yeah.
And all the other good seats get taken up like that. So nobody wants to pay the extra like $150 to go on the plane early. And so I literally think they were like, maybe we should do this. And then I think everyone who's like hardcore A-list is like, this model sucks. And I bet they were like, we're going to do it. But sorry.
Yeah. They definitely ran the numbers. And I'm not sure if the numbers checked out, but they said, we're going to do it anyway.
It doesn't feel like a good idea to me. But
we're going to make our customer base hate us so much
bad,
and they're going to like it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm worried about it.
Yeah. Like everything else, this is a massive tangent, but I went on a deep dive about the invention of photography and how it disrupted painting. And this is how the Impressionism came about.
Oh, okay.
And so I've just sort of arrived at this conclusion in life that like, it's always changing. And you know what? It's always going to be fine.
Yeah. I think it will be fine.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to, I played a show and the people that were driving, I was going to say the artist, but I think I was the only person there.
Like the runner, basically?
Yeah, the runners both worked for a different airline. This wasn't Southwest. And they like donate their time because they're like, we love this organization. And so every year they'll drive people around. And I got deep with them because I was like, I want to talk to you about this. This particular airline has like 9 boarding groups. And I was like, why do you do that? Everyone's in 3 of them. And they were like, well, and so I was like, I got to talk to them about boarding planes and they were like, Southwest, that's their advantage. And they're like, but it's going to be bad when they switch because they won't have like their turn times on planes are way faster, and so they can be more profitable.
I see.
And I was like, and so basically they were like, I think this seat thing is going to be a big deal for them. One, because that's their efficiency is going to be taken away because they can't do that anymore. And two, basically he was like, they're projecting, I forget what they said, some not huge amount of time to retrofit all the planes with the new seats. Because like they're talking about having like better seats up front, kind of like sort of like a little more comfort or
like
whatever.
A comfort plus situation.
Yes. And he was like, it's going to take them so long to do that. And you said one more thing that was so good. Basically, he was like, that's going to take him a long time. I can't remember the other thing. When we talked about boarding planes, I was like, why don't we do it back to front? And he was like, well, it's like, it's bags. He's like, also though, we ran tests. He was like, we did this. And I was just like, I can't believe I'm hearing this. He was like, the only boarding method that made any difference, back to front, front to back, didn't matter, was only window seats first, middle seats second, aisle seats third.
That checks out.
Yeah. And he was like, that was the only thing that was actually faster. Everything else, even back to front, actually wasn't any faster. And I was like, why can't we do that? And he was like, well, it's because of the, basically now, since everyone starts charting for bags.
That's what I was going to say.
A lot of what I think people are trying to get is a spot for their bag. And they're like, we can't do that anymore. So
yeah,
we went deep on airports.
We did. This is exciting. And
I have more to give too. We could talk this for several hours.
Last thing. The reason I was able to sit in the first seat aisle was because I only had the backpack.
Yes. Yeah.
Because otherwise I never can.
And people have to salmon after it lands. They're just like, can I scoot back and get my bag? I'm always
it's a nightmare.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. Okay. Anyway, enough airport talk. We could talk about this another time. I always start this thing off with the same question, which is how long have you been in town?
I got in town maybe roughly this time. No, June of 2009.
Okay.
So that's going to be 16 years, right?
Yeah. Where from?
Well, I was in college at the University of Arkansas in Fayetteville.
Yeah.
And then,
Great town.
Great town. Moved straight from there.
Were you born in
I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Nice. Tulsa, kind of a great town.
It's honestly...
It's really like every time I go back, I'm like, is Tulsa like it's the spot now?
And I say this, we don't know each other well enough, or the people watching might not know me well enough.
Yeah.
Or listening, I guess I should say. I really don't like to hype things up. I try to be like accurate in my I'm not. Right. I feel like everybody in Nashville's like, oh my gosh, this guy's the best guitar player.
Right.
And I only want to say that if it's the best guitar player. I'd rather be like very good guitar player.
Yeah.
But Tulsa's a really great town.
Yeah.
It's changed. It wasn't super cool when I was there. And I remember one time the band and I played a show in Tulsa. I went to hang out with my family. And they hung out sort of in this cool part of town. They're like, why didn't you tell us Tulsa was cool? It's like, I didn't know Tulsa was cool. Yeah. And now every time I go back, I'm like, this is a really awesome place. It's a great size. There's a lot of great food, a lot of great stuff.
Yeah. For some reason, I talk to a lot of people about the Spaghetti Warehouse in Tulsa.
Wow.
I don't know why.
Well, it's because the two venues are right down.
Okay,
there.
that must be why. Yeah. I just feel like it's always a part of my Tulsa story.
Yeah, that probably has a bigger impact on people who are playing Canes or the Tulsa Theater or Brady Theater, whatever.
Gotcha.
Because it's right there.
Okay.
I think I went to the Spaghetti Warehouse a time.
Yeah.
Nothing. I have no thoughts about it. I just wasn't really part of it.
Yeah, we don't have to do a deep dive on entrees at Spaghetti Warehouse.
I can't do it. Okay. I'm in the shallow end.
Did you play a lot of music growing up?
I was a late bloomer musically. I took piano lessons as a kid and quit. And then I think I started playing guitar 6th grade.
But kind of?
Yeah, I just played guitar.
Yeah.
My friend and I played Wipeout in the talent show.
Right.
No big deal.
Classic.
In matching Hawaiian shirts. But I didn't sing until I went to this huge public school until 8th grade. And then 9th through 12th, I attended a private Christian high school, and they had a praise and worship class, and then they had chapel where people would
totally
whatever. And a guy came and sang my freshman year, and I was just blown away. And after that, I was like, maybe I should try to sing, but I did not sing I don't think I sang a note of music until I was probably 16.
Gotcha.
And started really loving it. Joined the praise and worship class, which is it was like a crash course on how to be a band. The teacher was cool and like let us just like run with it.
Yeah.
There's a couple of really talented musicians in there. I played with them through college.
Okay.
And so basically like it was a crash course in like how to do music.
Yeah.
And that was it. We had a high school band, played shows. And then in Fayetteville in college, I played like 200 shows in college, like so many. I was traveling all the time and basically just kind of like built a grassroots following.
Let's take a quick break here to tell you about our friends, the Graphic Guitar Guys. If you've ever thought about having a custom guitar, whether for merch, a giveaway, or a unique VIP package item, Graphic Guitar Guys makes it simple. They've worked with some of the biggest names in country music, handling everything from the guitar to full color graphics and shipping, and it's all for one easy price. They're also a great option for album pre-sale bundles or fan collectibles. I've worked with Scott and the rest of the team myself, and they really do make the whole process effortless. Check them out at thegraphicguitarguys.com. Now, back to the show. Yeah. I think at some point or another you played like a high school in Dallas or at Trinity.
Dude, that was a weird, like ended up being a big deal for me. Did you go there?
I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I had moved.
Were you there?
So I wasn't there. So I had moved to a different school at that point, but all of my friends that I grew up with did through, K through 12 at Trinity. Mm-hmm. Which for those listening for context, just a small school in North Dallas, which is where I went to middle school. But I like remember that happening. I remember, it was like this cool thing that happened that day at school. And like, as your career has grown, I feel like all of those people have like grown with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's so weird that that was honestly ended up being, in the grand scheme of things, for me, a really big deal. So a guy that I was friends with in college, I'm going to get this right.
Yeah.
Was dating a girl whose dad worked at Trinity,
okay.
I think. And like when I started doing music, it was a little bit of a novel thing in Fayetteville because there was not a ton of like
original music.
Yeah, it wasn't like a huge scene for that.
Yeah.
And so it was like, oh wow, there's like a guy here doing this.
Yeah.
And so what would happen is like freshman year, everybody went home and took like an EP I made. And when they came back, that's when I started having more people being like, you got to come to play at Kansas State or whatever.
I see.
And so I think that this guy's girlfriend's dad was like, you got to come play at Trinity. And I can't remember the details of this exactly, but it was like, I almost wasn't going to do it, I think. I don't remember how this happened.
Yeah.
It was like, because I was kind of like, it was far. I don't remember if it was around another show or not.
And it's sort of a random gig, right? It's like during the school day.
Yeah. And I was like, so what is it? And I can't remember what happened, but I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm supposed to do this. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I went and I played and I used to calculate at that point if I wanted to play a show by how many CDs I thought I could sell.
Okay.
For like $5. And I was like, could I make maybe? I went and I sold so many CDs. Wow. It was insane. I was just like, what on earth? And so I was like, that was cool. And we decided, like, I think it was later that year, we're swinging big. We're going to play the Cambridge Room at House of Blues, capacity, I think 400.
Yeah.
And that was like a legit venue. It was like, look out world. This is crazy.
This is for real now.
Yes. And it sold out like really fast. And I really think it was all kids from Trinity.
Wow.
And so basically like that was like a little bit, that sort of started Dallas as like a weird market for me. Because it was like, I was playing shows, but most of them were like a fraternity is like, come play at our thing, or a sorority, or like a fundraiser or something. And so I played normal shows, but that was one of the first like real, like this is not a college bar. This is just like a show.
Yeah. Wow.
And I really think that's why it sold out, because like we were just, I think we were like, maybe this will go okay. And it was like, poof,
Sold
we were
out.
like, what happened? And I 100% believe that all those kids were from Trinity. And so basically that started that we played House of Blues 1 or 2 more times in college. And that was like an anchor touring market for me. And it was really because, and there were some churches there that I think people liked the music, but like that was like the start that like, I was like, maybe I'm going to like really do this. And I played other shows in college, but that was an earlier one where it wasn't like
That's so wild.
a bar in Stillwater, Oklahoma. It was like, wow, this is like a real venue.
Yeah.
They have a green room. They're like giving us food.
Yeah. The first show you ever played with a green room is a wild experience.
We it was like a green room. And we were like, they were like, what do you want for dinner? We were like, what? One time I was supposed to play, I think I played it 3 times in college, maybe 4, but one of them, it was me and a couple other people from Dallas were like all going to play. I think I was headlining.
Yeah.
And it was like a worship leader in Dallas, a guy named Chris August, who's actually a great songwriter and artist. He lives here.
Yeah.
But we were going to play the show, and Marilyn Manson was playing in the big room.
Oh, okay. This was because House of Blues has the 2.
Yeah, they have
the big room and the Cambridge room.
Yes. And I was driving down there, and I got a phone call, I think from Chris, and he was like, dude, Marilyn Manson is using the Cambridge room as his green room. They say we can't play in there. Which now, in hindsight, I'm like, that's not a thing. Like,
that's not real.
If I was a grown-up, I would have been like, no, he's not. He's 100% not.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk in there and be like, hey, Marilyn, nice to meet you. I'm playing a show in here tonight. And so they had us play. They have like a restaurant, I guess. We played the show in the restaurant. I have to believe maybe the tickets hadn't sold well enough.
Yeah, so they just bumped you down.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that was real.
Yeah, there's like an interesting study someone could do in like network effects of how playing this show at this high school disseminated out, but it's totally real.
Oh, I truly believe, and I think that's how in early stages of touring, that's how stuff grows. There's like a weird like it's usually young people, and it's like this little hub.
Yeah,
that was the first like anchor market that I had, and I think if I hadn't played that show,
you might have not ever made the connection.
Yeah, and I think the show still would have been fine. It wouldn't have been like nobody came, but I don't think it would have been quite as like outsized. And it's like
totally.
Whoa.
There's so much about the way that you've done your career that I want to talk about, but I guess before we go to that, I feel like I'd be remiss to not mention like all of the things in your career that have happened are on the backs of like really stellar songs.
Thanks, man.
And I guess I'm curious how, like, did you just start writing songs one day? At what point did you realize it was like, oh, these are actually good? Or
I did start writing songs one day. That's literally how it happened.
Yeah.
It was a long time before I sang in front of anyone, which I don't know what this is about, but I didn't sing. Basically, I would only sing when my parents, I have 2 a lot older sisters, so they're out of the house.
Yeah.
I would only sing when my parents were gone, and I would sing in a tile bathroom that we had. And I did it a lot. Like, I loved it. I was like, maybe I'm good at this. I don't know. But the first time I ever sang in front of anybody was an original song at a talent competition that my high school had.
Okay.
But it was, I don't know what made me be like, I'm going to write a song. I think it's just like,
There's just something inside.
Yeah, it really was.
Wants out.
I wasn't like, I'm going to learn all these songs. I would learn like part of a chorus and kind of like be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Of a song I liked. And so I started writing. So yeah. It was something that I really loved. I didn't have to be like, I need to work on songwriting.
Yeah.
I was always like stealing time away from other stuff to do it. I really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like it's my problem was I would always sit down to practice like guitar scales, but I would just write a song.
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't. So that I would probably be way better at guitar if I'd done the scales, but I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it felt like that to me. Like I was it never felt like the chore. I mean, I think finishing songs sometimes feels like a chore, but
Yeah.
getting in that zone, I feel like it's one of the parts of music I would do for free.
Yeah, for sure, dude. That's like the biggest part of the process. Yeah, I think I don't know if it's a John Mayer quote or maybe John Mayer like quoted someone else. It was like first verse inspired, second verse required.
Yeah. I feel like second verse is always a nice, like, that's the one place it feels like you get to actually like think about it. Yeah. It's like the first verse usually just happens.
Right.
And the chorus is like, this needs to be great. And the second verse is like, what do I want to put in here?
Yeah. It's where you get to paint a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You just got so many great songs that are really, dude, I was listening to, it's a new song, Richest Man in the World.
Yeah.
Did I get the title right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there last night. I put it on, just trying to kind of get ready for this interview, and I'm like, damn, am I tearing up right now a little bit? You know, it's that's a special thing, man.
Thank you.
That you can move people with the songs. I'm sure it's not the first time you've heard that, but
you're very kind to say it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I feel like especially now when it feels like it's hard to feel if anything is working or happening or not. It's cool to hear that. Thank you.
And what do you mean feel like just like the nature of music at this point, or?
Yeah, I think the nature of music, the nature of the way people are consuming it, the way that it's being not distributed in a literal sense, but sort of like just the algorithmic stuff. It just feels a little, I really believed that it's like, if you made a good enough thing, if you made a good enough burger, word gets out and there'll just be a line around your restaurant and people will be like, I'm here for the burger. And I think what's really sad is it's the first time ever, I think in the last year, that it's like, I don't really believe that anymore, which is a bummer, because I feel like that was, I don't know. I think I liked it. I liked it when it was like, hey, if you can build a better mousetrap, man, people will find it and like it. And I just don't really think I'm not saying that can't happen.
Right.
But I think that I don't believe in that law as much anymore.
Yeah. I think a little bit of it too, I probably think about this more than I should, is like the frame of how we measure music has been broken a little bit. 'Cause for a while it was so exciting. You know, there's been a lot of different phases of music, and there will continue to be more. But when virality really started becoming important in like 2021, maybe a little earlier than that, there was like, oh, okay, I guess I can play this game and I can see results from it, which I could measure with streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. But now it's like more time put into the algorithm doesn't like give you more results.
Yeah.
And so then you're just like, well, this is broken and I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah. And I think I really have struggled to figure out what I want my like heart posture to be in this iteration of the music industry for releasing music, because I've always kind of like prided myself on being like, hey man, I'll figure this out. Like I'll learn it, I'll figure out a way to like tilt it to my advantage in the ways that I can. And it feels like if you're like climbing a rock face, it's like, oh dang, the mountain moved and I have to climb this rock face. I'd be like, okay, this is not ideal, but I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah.
This is the first rock face that I've seen that I'm like, I don't think it's truly climbable. And that doesn't mean that no one can or will climb it, but I think I used to feel like a skilled enough and determined enough climber can figure this out into a replicatable, like you can figure out the route and then you can do the route again. And like you can figure out how to master this wall. Yeah. It's the first wall that feels like it's just like Jell-O. There's like not really routes. It's just like, oh, you like this guy might just like rock it up there. It's like, is he good? It's like, he is not good. Yeah. Okay. It's like, this guy is really good and he made it once, kind of. It's like, can you do it again? He could never do it again. Yeah. It's the first one that I'm just like, I don't think it's from maybe a better analogy would be like, if it's like, if we're all in a casino, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, you can learn how to kind of count cards. Right. And you can gain an edge on blackjack. Are you going to win every time? No. But do you have an edge against the house if you're really good?
Yeah.
It feels like they came in and cleared every skill game out, and it's just slots now. And I'm just like,
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
well, like there is no edge in slots. It's like, you're right, there's not.
Yeah.
But every poll's free. And I'm just like,
Sort of.
right, it's not free. And also, it's the odds are terrible. Like this is
Right.
not this. If it only matters if you like win the jackpot, it's just like, well, dude, like this doesn't work. And they're like, I know. And you're like, what do we do? And they're
But
like,
there's no gatekeepers.
I know.
Isn't it great?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm not going to couch this. I think what I miss is I think that there was a golden era of like, I think iTunes was great. I think that was the best setup. Then I think early streaming was not bad. But I think the hard part is it was initially presented as like, now everyone will be able to make a living playing music.
Right.
And I want to be like, it's not supposed to be like that. Like, it's like, this is kind of like a professional sport.
Yeah.
It'd be like, now everyone can play in the NFL. It's like, some people are not big and fast enough.
Right.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, it was ushered in as like, oh, dude, this is going to be great. And now it's weird where it's like, well, now like we're not even really playing football anymore. Like it's this weird, like, and it doesn't matter if you're big and fast. Sometimes it does, but other times it doesn't. And I just think it's like, I don't think it's a very good system.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to not be like old fogey sour grapes about it, because I feel like that's what I feel like. It's like, oh, this stinks. It used to be better, but I'm like, but my dog,
Yeah.
it is not great out here. It's not good. No, I always want to be like, want to make like an Instagram reel and be like, no one is having a good time right now.
Yeah.
That is not happening.
Yeah. I want to have this feeling, and this is something I'm really struggling with right now. I have a whole record done, and I have this feeling of like, this music to me is like a briefcase filled with $10 million that is handcuffed to my wrist. And it is so special to me. And I know at some point it must be released.
Yeah.
But just like putting it on like just throwing it on Spotify, like it feels so devaluing of it's like, so I've just been trying to work backwards. Like, how do you make something feel special? And Spotify's and all streaming platforms or whatever are gonna be part of it, obviously. But how do you, like, there's so much value in music, and I don't feel like it's valued like even like as a soul currency right now, and that makes it hard.
And dude, the bummer for me, and I feel like I'm too much of a pessimist, the thing that I get the creepy crawlies about is, I think if you ask me point blank, is music still valuable? The sad answer is I'd be like, it's not really. I think music that has context, that like people have memories to, or any context, people that are like crushing it right now, it's like, oh, the context is like, dude, these are the cool, whatever style of jeans are currently popular. Like, this is the cool jeans. Yeah. And people are like, that's the context. I really like it. But I feel like it's so hard to create context now. And that, I think, is a lot of what gives music its value, which is sad. Yeah. Because I feel like, and I think every time I'm like, man, what's the deal? I don't have to look any farther than my consumption habits. It's like, dude, I love Dawes. I really like that band. I think Taylor's a great writer. Love that they play instruments. I think the songs are fun and funny and whatever. Yeah. And I feel bad because it's like, anytime on social media, it's like, check out the new Dawes song. I'm like, nah, I'm good. It's like, dude, I am a professional musician and I love that band. Yeah. I have seen them live 3 times. Yeah. I don't see a ton of live shows. And they're like, we made something just for you. You're going to love it. I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's what's happening. Everyone that's like, what's the deal lately? It's like, that's the deal. That's the deal. That's it. You know? Right.
Yeah. You're so right. It's just so hard to create context. I feel like that's why sometimes, I didn't think we were going to talk about this today, but like, I feel that's why sometimes wedding songs are a little bit of a cheat code, because the context for the listener,
it's like, oh, it's always going to be like, that was my whatever.
If you hit, like, I have a song that became a popular wedding song, and like, that is always going to work to some level. Totally. But it's really hard to get the context the other way. Like there's this jazz song I've become obsessed with called like The Hard Way. I think it's like Chet Baker, but I'm in love with it because it was referenced in a documentary about Robert Caro called Turn Every Page by this like his very charming editor of the book, and he was talking about the song, and then they play it, and I had this emotional connection to the song. So now I love the song, but that context was so hard to find.
Right. And I think now the game is create context, but everyone's trying to do that, which is impossible because everyone's like, let me give you all, like, here's why. And that's why I feel like I feel bad because like anytime I'm scrolling, which I try to do less and less, I hilariously, this is actually bad. I set like you can set like your own limits on your phone.
Of course.
But then you could do parental limits that if you don't have the code, it literally just shuts off.
Okay.
So I did that.
Gave someone else the code?
Yeah. I was just like, I don't want to be looking at this a bunch. I just waste time. But the problem is my wife forgot the code and I can't reset it. And so there's times when it's like, I am like, and there's a social media team people that like help me out.
You have a business reason.
But there's times when like I literally am like, I used my minutes. I can't do this. It's just like, oops. But
that might be a blessing of some kind.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah.
And I go back and forth. I take the app off my phone. I'm just like, I don't want to look at this. Yeah. But anytime I'm scrolling, when I see a guy with a guitar pop up, I'm literally just like, whoop.
Yeah.
And I'm for a second, I was like, why do I do that? I think the bummer to me is I know this is probably too harsh, but I feel like the musician setup on social media, we're a little bit like street, like beggars almost. Cause like other people, the other styles of content, it's just like, there's no ask. It's just like, I don't need anything from you. Watch this or don't, I don't care. Like a lot of comedy stuff and they're trying to sell tickets, but like comedy stuff, they're just like, watch this crowd work. I don't care, man, or don't, whatever. And you're like, okay, I'll watch.
Yeah.
But at the end of like, we're all having to make essentially sponsored content, which is basically like somewhere I'm going to sneak in there. What I really need you to do is I need you to go listen to this song.
Yeah.
Get off this platform, go to this platform, please listen to my song.
Yeah.
There's not really a way around that. And, you know, every like music marketing, you know, guru is like, don't ask for anything in your content. But the problem is like, it's still implied where it's like, yeah, I know you need me to do something.
Yeah.
And it's just like that versus Instagram being like, do you want to see if these people survive this car crash? It's just like, dog, that's not even close. I'm like,
I gotta see.
I'm like, I need to see if they survive the car crash. Yeah. And it's like, I don't have 40 seconds to understand like the setup and the payoff of your hook and then to like get off this app and go find the thing. It's like, I don't have it, man. I'm sorry. I don't even want to be here, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The like they rescued the dog and it's covered in mats and they're like, watch his transformation. I'm like, I gotta see it.
I need to see how this turns out. And then it's like the other option is like, then it's like, okay, here's a guy with guitar being like, here's my feelings. It's like, I'm good, man.
I know.
And even like, what's really sad is the stuff that will get me to stop. It's world-class, great stuff. It's like, so it's like the best thing that person will probably ever do. Yeah. And my reaction's like, cool. I'm just like, this is bad, man. I'm like,
maybe I'll go check out the song, but I might even love it.
Yes.
So much.
Oh, dude. And that's the deal. It's like, I'm not like, man, I'm like, wow, that was incredible. It's like, do you want any more of this? I'm like, no, dude, I'm good. It feels like everyone was like a steakhouse and they're like, hey man, everything's a buffet now. And you're like, okay. It's like, well, nobody really wants steak at the buffet. Just like, what's like a little tiny bite that's crazy? And you're like, all right, I made a tiny like bacon slider. And the problem is you get good enough at that and people are like, I'm good. And you're like, do you want to come to my steakhouse? And they're like, nah, dude, the slider is sick. And I'm like, but I don't get anything from the slider. And they're like, no, but dude, but you get attention. That's great. And you're like, well, what do I do with attention? It's like, oh, dude, stuff happens when you got attention. And the truth is like, no, it doesn't. I have a bunch of friends who are like figured out a way to get attention. It's like Chuck E. Cheese tickets. Now they're like, well, I don't want to turn these in for something. It's like, you can turn them in for making more videos.
Yep. The followers that you've amassed, pretty worthless.
Right.
You want to go on a tour? Might not work.
Yeah.
You know?
Touring's expensive. Yeah. Oh, but dude, don't worry. In 10 years, it won't be expensive. If you do it, great. It's just, I think that's the funny part is it's presented as like, oh, dude, you get this attention. Then look out, dude. And I want to be like, tap, tap, tap. Nothing really happens. And that's not totally true. I mean, but it's
Right.
I think the friends of mine or people I know who found a way to like get some of those Chuck E. Cheese tickets, it has been really, really hard to figure out how to get those off platform. It's like, because you're like, dude, check out all these Chuck E. Cheese tickets. And it's like very sick.
Yeah.
You cannot turn those in for anything. And then when you do, it's like it's a terrible exchange rate. And that is like a new challenge of its own. It's like, how do you, I don't know. And that's if you beat the video game. It's like, if you get the high score, then you get to try to figure out how to like, it's like you get crude oil. It's like, dude, this is crazy. It's so valuable. It's like, well, can you use this? It's like, no, you can't use it for anything. It's like, well, then you have to refine it into, petroleum products. It's like, is that hard? It's like, oh, it's impossibly hard.
It's almost impossible.
It is there's literally an industry just for that, and it's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah, like the only person I've really seen do it the whole way, and this person's skill set is so uniquely like designed, almost like they grew it in a lab to be situated for this like period we're in, is like there's this guy, I think his name's Connor Price.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he was a child actor.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say. So he's doing these skits. These skits are great.
Dude, they're unreal.
So
good.
I'm watching them, like I'm in. Well, now I've been following them for years, and he's turned it into this like amazing touring business as well.
Yep.
And he's got this great way of like incorporating. I mean, like content is like almost seems like not the right word for how impressive this is, but he makes these like amazing videos that showcase the show. Now I'm like I'm like you, I do not really like going to shows at all. But I'm like, I mean, I kind of want to go. Like I'm interested.
Totally.
But yeah, he's an actor.
He's an actor. He's great at it. The other thing I've realized is like most people that crush it have a great hook where it's like the hook is like, it's a fundamental hook where it's like, he doesn't look like what's about to happen. I had a friend who's a manager, and he was like talking to another manager who's like, I'm only signing really heavy country singers. He's like, what? And he's like, yeah, because it stops the scroll immediately. You see this big guy and he's good voice. It's just like, these two things don't go together. Like that's literally the game plan. So for Connor, it's like, he doesn't do the thing it looks like he's going to do. The only thing that I wish I could like wave a flag if there was some like artist summit.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of things that I would claim like true, like, hey, I understand this.
Yeah.
I feel like that about touring, at least the way that I've done it.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a lot of assumptions. It's like, you show the crowd, that's so crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
I think even people that are like, and now they're selling out shows, I'd be like, we should really open up the hood and be like, are you really making any money though? Because like the reality of what it takes to make money touring is it's a treacherous landscape, and it's really hard to get everything to where it needs to be, to where it's like, yeah, dude, this is for real, like crushing it lucrative. Even people that like, you can do an arena tour and lose money and sell them out. And so I think that's the only one part, is it feels like the pitch for social media is always like, but look at this person crushing it. And I'm over in the, it's like I have not looked at Connor's tour, so it may be no, whatever. But a lot of the setup, it's like, okay, like I know what the deal is in that room.
Yeah.
Here's the ticket price. It's like, well, dude, that's not paying for the bus. Like, a lot of that stuff doesn't make sense until it's like you're filling the room with expensive tickets.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Or you are a master at lean touring, which most new touring artists are not. They're just like, I don't know, they told me to get like a big crew and a bus and whatever. It's like, if you want to make money this time, it's you buying a van or renting a van and wearing hats and figuring out how to do like a meet and greet and whatever. That's something that I always want to like throw a flag on, because I think people are like, well, look, this economy works because this happened. And I want to be like,
are you sure?
That person has a manager, an agent, a business manager. I'm just running the numbers, and I'm like, this is a little, it can develop into a very lucrative business, but it is not at this point. And I think there's very few people that actually know that. Like an agent would know that, a manager would know that artist would know that.
Right.
But everyone else is just like, dude, you sold 2,000 tickets, crushing it. Yeah. And I'd be like, maybe not.
Did you, when you started, I mean, you've been touring for a long time, but I guess in earnest, Which model did you subscribe to? Did you operate at a loss at first, or did you just keep it lean? How did it work?
For better or for worse, man, I'm probably like way too into things being efficient. And so like I was way slower than I should have been building we headlined, to full circle that.
Yeah.
We headlined the big room in Dallas. Sorry, at the Dallas House of Blues. I say big room like it's really big. It's not. It's not that big of a room.
Well, it's a pretty big
It's
room.
the larger of the two.
Yeah.
I headlined that, and I think we sold it out, and I didn't have a tour manager, which is that's not the way you should do it. You should have a tour manager.
How was your stress level on that on show days?
It's the only way I knew how to do it. So very stressed, but I didn't. I think the reality was to like do it right.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have been fine taking on that level of risk for that amount of shows. It's like, well, dude, like to build the sick crew, it's like I would have been like, I'm doing this at a loss, which would have been fine, but I just wasn't mentally probably set up for that. And we bootstrapped a lot of the touring. Like I played so many shows and started so small that like I didn't come into it being like, yeah, like I don't know how to do this. It's like, yeah, dude, like we would drive all day and then we'd set up our gear and then we would play and then we'd tear it down and put it back in the van and then we'd drive to the next place. Like, so yeah, if someone was like, I don't know, I built it very slowly and very like bootstrappy. And I think that many people on the outside would have been like, this is ridiculous. But like, it's
just what you knew.
It's what I knew. Yeah. And like, even artistically, that was just like the card I knew how to play. Like, I was just like, I don't know.
Because I think, and again, sometimes I'm wrong, but have you ever like signed a label deal?
Never like
not in a traditional way.
No, never a proper one. I did a couple licensing deals where like, it was basically like a distribution deal.
Yeah.
I did one with Caroline. I did one with,
somebody else.
Sad that I can't remember that.
Yeah.
I did another one, but I was never like, sign me up.
But I'm sure that was not for like, lack of people trying to sign you.
I think we could have done that.
Yeah. So what was behind? It's just I think that's a really interesting path to take that most people don't take. Like, what was your thinking behind it?
Yeah, I think it was two things. One was when I was graduating college, it was just like the tail end of like white guy singer songwriter music being like, this is cool. Like, this is like what is popular.
Yeah.
So some of it was like, nobody was like, we'll give you $10 million. Like they were, it was good offers. But as that was happening, as that stuff was going down, what was popping up was like iTunes was crushing. And it was like the thing I did, I think, well as an artist, or maybe like my like video game character stat that was good is like a higher it was a small group of people and they were really excited about it. It was the like line out the door for a burger. It's like I had one restaurant.
Yeah.
People were really excited about the restaurant. So like iTunes was great for me because I had a relatively small amount of fans, but they all would buy the record. And so like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's like in that sort of post-college era, you could like, I don't know, sell like 10,000 records the first day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean,
pretty good money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I did that in a day, do I really want to like give this label my music forever when it doesn't seem like there's a ceiling on this? Like, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what could happen in 5 years. And I had friends who like did the major label thing and just kind of like got, had a moment, but then got shelved or whatever. And I was just like, and I think too, it wasn't, I wonder if I had done that in like 1999 instead of 2009, it's like, I might have, maybe I would have caught the right,
well, it would have been a different game.
Yeah.
I think distribution mattered so much in 1999.
Totally. And I'm even just meaning from the label side.
Yeah.
The label landscape then, it's like, they might've offered me like a deal that was like, oh dude, you have, the recipe then was like, kind of poppy, but like a little bit creative music, cool voice, and whatever. It's like I could see that having been like an okay setup. And if like Capital or like some label I really liked had been like, here's like a whole bunch of money and a good team, I might have been like, okay. But it was always like all the people I was talking to, it's like, then they'd be fired the next year. And then I was just like, this doesn't seem great. So I wasn't like, I'm going to be independent. It just seemed like that was the right path for me. Because I was like, I don't know what the ceiling for this thing is, and I'd like to find that out, and then I get to own the music. So
which is valuable.
Yeah,
as
it turns out.
And at this point, like you're touring, it's I don't know. We were talking about it earlier. It's like you're doing it. I'm sure at some point I've had a few artists on here that have kind of gone from the like. They were playing all of the shows, and then it was like, what if we like played half? And then it turned out they made more money playing half the shows. So is that, I guess, have you just continually refined that? Because now you're talking about playing one show. What'd you say? One show a month?
It's 1 weekend a month.
Gotcha.
So I think for a long time, I was a little more maximalist about it, probably even than I would have been. And I think this is where I think CAA did a good job because they pushed me to do stuff that I wouldn't have done.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I would have been like, I only want to play 10 markets. And they were like, you should play more than that. We started to diverge there a little bit where like, as I started taking out like real production and like all that kind of stuff, and the shows were bigger. I mean, that's very relative. The shows were bigger than I expected them to be. I started to be like, okay. And this is, I mean, I've really started refining a lot more in the last maybe like 6 years.
Yeah.
Because I wish there could be like an artist summit for this stuff because I feel like people just don't think about it.
Yeah.
And everyone looks around, they're just like, yeah, this is like what you do, I guess. And I want to be like, you guys know, like, if you have sat down and thought about this, it's like, do you know why they want you to play all these shows? It's like, it's not for you.
It's a commission.
Yeah. It's like, because I kept being like, it feels like you guys want me to play the biggest shows I can, but like, I don't make the most money. And it's like, well, yeah, like, dude, Ticketmaster, it's like, if you sell 10,000 tickets, you're not getting any of those ticketing fees. And that's a $150,000 minimum immediately before anything happens. There's a ton of other ways their money's being made. And I think I just get bummed sometimes because I'm like, oh, I think it feels like an endless like carrot at the end. It's like, but dude, next time, wow. Like this tour, I structured it way different than I've ever done. So basically, and no one's ever going to care about this. I'll say it.
Yeah, they are.
I'll say it on this podcast. Yeah. But I feel like this is like my like artistic shining moment as a touring artist. Really, I'm like, this is the best you can do it, I think, for full band stuff.
Okay.
So it's 1 weekend a month. We later, of course, I knew we probably would have to, added like a couple like second weekend and like 2 of the months.
Yeah.
1 weekend a month. We're flying in and out. There's not going to be a bus on this tour.
No bus.
No bus.
Is there like a semi?
Well,
okay.
We'll get there.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
So we build it and we start, it's tiered in venue size.
Okay.
So the first one we played, sorry, Anaheim, if you're watching this, was a warm-up weekend. I was like, I want to book a weekend. It's going to be small shows.
Yeah.
And it's just our chance to like water test this. It's like, what of this doesn't work?
Yeah.
What of this doesn't work? And so basically every weekend is bigger and bigger venues. So for production, I met with the production manager and I was like, we're going to build a lighting setup that we rent locally everywhere that is the same fixtures that are cheap, easy to make, and we're just going to rent it locally and leave.
Yeah.
We're not going to be doing this like, but how do we get all the stuff? And so basically there's 2 packages right now of the lighting. There's A rig and a B rig. And we can alternate those if we want to. But as we get into the really big shows, so we're ending in arenas. For that, it'll be a different production setup. It'll be like, okay, this is like a truck, 2 trucks, whatever, but we'll rent it, send it. A couple times it might be cheaper to like put stuff in a truck from Nashville, all our audio, all our whatever.
Yeah.
But the nice part is like, we all get to have like a normal life. And then 1 weekend a month are like, oh dude, this is great. But I'm not paying for gear and transportation. I'm not paying for like bus, truck, a huge like rental of all this production stuff that you're only able to use like, half the time if you're lucky.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like surgical. It's like a bunch of one-offs. So you sew those together and it's like super high margin and it's really, really fun and enjoyable. And to fans, they're not like, wait, why aren't you playing for another month? They're just like, can't wait to see you in Denver in August, I guess. And I'm just like, yeah, I can't wait either. It'll be great. And my agent was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. I was like, small shows first. We'll hit the sort of like amphitheater stuff in the summer as it's growing. And at the end we'll play arenas and that'll be it. But I feel like from the outside, people are probably like, yeah, cool, you're spacing the shows out. But I'm like, but like,
you don't understand.
There's like a bunch of cool like inside jokes. It feels like you're like writing a song. It's like, and it's like efficient. And so we had to figure out what markets to play. The thing was basically like direct flights from Nashville. There's a couple that aren't.
Dude, I love this.
This
is amazing.
And to do, literally, it's like we're playing Denver, Kansas City this week. And so the band will fly on the day of show to Denver. The crew goes in the night before, but it's direct from Denver to Kansas City, direct from Kansas City to Nashville.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go in the day before because I want to play golf day of the show. But that's it. It's not, it's like, it doesn't feel like I'm on tour. And the thing is like, if you book the tickets at the right time, it's not that expensive.
Yeah.
So it's like hotel rooms and there are costs, like it is.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think if you like beat it with like the margin from a normal tour, it would just beat it into the ground.
Wow. It's fascinating.
Yeah. And it feels great.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Where before I was just like, I kind of hate this. I haven't slept good in a long time. I'm out of my normal life.
Yeah, it's going to be a better show because you're going to be.
That's the whole.
You're going to be jazzed.
The band and I are so stoked. Like I cannot wait to play in Denver. It's going to be great. And then after that, I'm going to be like, deuces. See you in a month. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, before we get out of here, I always like to ask people, if you could go back to younger you, just getting started on the journey, and give them a little piece of advice. What would you say?
I would say you need to try to enjoy this more because I think it felt so high stakes and I wanted to do such a good job. If like it was like a school bus, maybe a small school bus, there's not that many seats. It's like there weren't enough seats for enjoyment. It was like really important to do this with integrity, really important to do this the absolute best you can, really important to do it in a financially responsible way, whatever, really important to like make it artistically great, whatever. I wasn't like, I just need to have a good time. That like was not as much in the calculus of the way I was approaching it. Cause I was just like, it was crazy to me that I was getting to do it at all. And because it wasn't like riding on like one single that crushed or like in an industry that was just like, in a part of the industry, it was just like, yeah, dude, just like do it again. It'll be fine. It felt like if I stopped making delicious burgers, it was all going to stop. Like,
it was like all going to be gone.
Yeah. It was, the line was only out the door because people love the burger.
Yeah.
And as soon as it wasn't that good of a burger, it's just like, well, you don't get to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And so I didn't enjoy it very much at all. I enjoyed the challenge of it and I enjoyed some of the art making. Yeah. But I wasn't like, boy, do I love this. I was just like, when do
you feel like you got the memo? You still working on it?
Like today, this morning? No,
when you realized you could tour exactly the way you wanted to.
No, I think I started realizing it was just really hard on me, man. I was in like a bad spot. I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. And I started realizing like, and I would enjoy parts of it, but just in general, I wasn't like, this is a blast. I think in the last like 6 years, I've started to be like, hey, like I want to do a better job of this.
Yeah. And
in the past year, I've been like, my job is now to enjoy this. I know that I'm going to do a good enough job because I just am going to. So I need to try really hard to like have a great time because I think that's actually going to be a wiser artistic and business decision. Because if I don't start doing that, I'm just going to be like, I don't do this anymore. And if I figure out ways to love it, I'll be like, oh, dude, I'll do this as long as people will have me.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this weird, like, this dawned on me like 7 months ago, and I actually was talking to producer Ben over here about it. I was like, I always thought success would be like a lightning bolt.
Oh, dude.
where it all happened, and it was like it was going to be like before and after. And then you like are making a musician for I've been making a living as a musician for, I don't know, over a decade, like 13 years or something. And you just kind of look up one day, it's like, I guess it's probably not going to like just stop for no reason.
Totally.
So I should probably like put less pressure on myself.
Yeah.
To like be the next whatever. And just, I am what I am, and I'm at where I'm at. And like, I'm so lucky to get to be doing this at all. And just enjoy it more.
I think that's so true. And I also feel like for me, I heard a quote somewhere. Someone was like, all the craziest people I know are the people that got like everything they wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think that's true. Because for me, so many things happened that I didn't think were going to happen. And at the end of that, I was like, I don't feel good at all. Like, I'm not like, oh, now this feels sick. I'm just like, this feels like nothing.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me was another turning point of being like, oh, I have to start enjoying it, because like putting it off, like, well, I'll enjoy it another time when whatever, it's like, oh, you're just never going to get there.
Yeah.
Like you're going to, whatever venue you want to play, if you sell that out, you'll be like, well, this person sold it out twice. Or it's like, oh man, you sold out an arena. It's like, well, it's like one night instead of like Garth Brooks did like 13. This person did a football stadium. It's just like, it just never ends at all. And so on that level, it's just like, I gotta like get some better like fuel to be running on, because the whole like outcome based fuel is just ridiculous, because there's just no like, and it seems so trite, because it's like, yeah, everybody knows that kind of, everyone's like, this isn't going to make you happy. But deep down inside, we're kind of like, but it might kind of.
Yeah.
I just want to, I feel
I
like.
want to know.
Right. I feel like there's enough times where it's like the thing happened and like 2 days later, I was like, I don't feel good at all. I was just like, oh, I should probably figure this out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. That's it. That's the pod. See you later.
Peace out.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening. If you want to submit a question for one of our Q&A episodes, you can do so at tenuretowne.com. We would love it if you would join the Tenuretowne community, which just means we'll send you updates via email about stuff we got going on. And of course, please rate and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Wherever you listen or watch this thing, we appreciate you so much. See you next week.